Hi guys, Malvern and Kid here, coming to you for Dark Avenger Inc. Plus. Yeah. um, so the Honorable Warrior himself, me, have two missions to complete. One from JALGhul, and of course from my master, my mentor, Blugoblin. So I think I'll do Gobby's first because Jay's is gonna take a while. It really to tell my origin. All right. So Sensei asks basically, what is your favorite game show? I love game shows. I tune into the game show network pretty much all the time. Matter of fact, before I started this vid, I was watching one of my favorite game shows, which I'll get into actually. The first one I think I want to talk about, I'll give you two. Okay, the first one I want to talk about is towards a woman that means the world to me. She's the woman that brought me into this world, and matter of fact, it's the woman in this picture right here. That's me and my mother. For all those, I lost my mother when I was 13, guys. But basically, two shows that I always watched with her, game shows. And I didn't mind the first, but the other one really got me into it. Wheel of Fortune. Yes, I clean house in Wheel of Fortune. My mother was a master at that game, and she knew how to solve the puzzles just like that. You know, it could be like only 3-4 letters in there, and somehow she'd get it. And I always said she would clean house. My mother was a very intelligent woman. The other was Jeopardy. She killed it on Jeopardy, but I would watch Jeopardy with her, but it was Wheel of Fortune that I learned how to solve the puzzles from her. She was a good teacher. But the other game show that I really love, and I've always said, man, if I got on that show, I'd clean house on that. And that's none other than Family Feud. Yes. Family Feud is another show, guys, that I'd clean house on. I'd murder that show. I love watching it. I've watched Family Feud for a long time, and I've watched and learned how to, like, okay, I could do that. It's like, man, just let me get 5 or 4 of my other family members and we're going there, and I'll clean house on there. But there are so many other game shows I love, but those are two that I love. Okay, so mission complete for my master, my sensei, mentor. There you go, mentor. Next, we got JALGhul's mission. So you want to know my origin? Well, I was bullied a lot when I was a kid. I was bullied, and I went to this expose that was given an instruction on radiation, and a spider fell. No, that's right. Can't give that one. No. Well, to give a whole 9 yard of basically me, how I came up with my name, everything like that. Well, let's get all into this. All right. First of all, I was always on YouTube, always watching videos and things like that, and a lot of shows that weren't coming on TV anymore. People used to post it up there, so I used to get nostalgic and watch it and stuff like that. But I didn't start a YouTube account until late 2007. And when I started on doing videos on YouTube, you know, my channel, Mount Vernon Kid, my first channel, basically, it was mainly, I was putting up a lot of intros of some of my favorite cartoons, like Gargoyles and classic Transformers cartoons and stuff like that. And I got some responses from it. It was really good to see that, you know, get some responses. I was all about input. I really, and that's still how I am today. I'm more about input and don't really, you know, if my videos get over a certain amount of views, that's great. But I'm more about input because I want to get people, talking. And I came up with the name when I was setting up my account. I'm just like, you know, I never looked my age. And I live in New York, and I live in a town called Mount Vernon. So I kind of looked at myself as a little bit of Billy the Kid. You know, he got the name because he never looked his age. So I put it together, Mount Vernon Kid, and that's how I came up with the name. And after a while, you know, putting up intros to favorite animes and cartoons and stuff, you know, like I said, Gargoyles and Transformers, Tenchi Muyo and stuff like that, Techno Man, I decided to start dabbling in just creative fun. And it started from there. And then after a while, I started to look around and seeing if there were people into hobbies of mine. And, you know, comic characters was there, and seeing a lot of tributes to different various heroes. And one of the first person that was doing that I would start watching like that was a friend of mine, Brandon Hex. He was one of them that I would constantly watch. It was him, and then another YouTuber another friend of mine known as Ass Kicker 202. I would watch their videos and just watch them showcase, you know, different heroes and stuff like that, and have music playing around it. CMVs, what they're called, comic motion videos. And I would see other people do it from time to time, and then I looked at it like, I could do that. You know, I could do that. I could do that. You know, I could do that. And, you know, but I wanted to be different. I'm always different. I wanted to be different, and I said to myself, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it in a way of me, like literally, almost literally interviewing or telling the life story of this hero, in a sense, or heroine, in a sense. So I started out first with my favorite, Mr. Webb, Spidey himself. That video alone is still up, and it's gotten over 10,000 views. And I continued with Marvel characters, you know, the Hulk and Captain America, Wolverine, you know, the typical people. And I would tell it like, you know, who created the character, where he or she first appeared in, tell their origin, tell basically, in a sense, also all of this stuff just coming from knowledge of the characters. Tell them, like, have they appeared in other things outside of comics, like video games and cartoons and movies and stuff like that. And then I would also give what's going on now with that character in terms of comics, and then end it with a nice slideshow of great artwork from different artists of that character. And I continue that for a long time. I've got about 88 tributes alone on my channel. The link will be in the description of my main channel. And I've continued to do that for a while, and I was getting responses, and people was loving it. You know, people was getting knowledge about some of the characters, and that was something I was loving. That all the knowledge over the 20 plus years of comic reading that I had was getting notoriety, and people were like, wow, I never knew that about such and such. Wow, that's actually a cool character. There were people, when I did, like, for a character like Nova, Richard Rider Nova, yes, people always looked at Nova as being, I don't know about him. But when I did my tribute, people got to know a lot more about Nova, and it was great. Started with DC, or started with Marvel. I later went into DC, went to Independent. Then I went to some of my childhood heroes like He-Man, Thundercats, and people like that. And then I went back to Marvel, and I had stopped for a while. Even during then, I started to watch a YouTuber by the name of Rant Raven Infection. He was this YouTuber from Canada. I believe he was Korean. And I stopped watching him after a while because he started getting kind of crazy and weird. He did a lot of topic videos, and that's how I started getting into my topic videos, because I'm like, I got a lot on my chest. Once again, I could do that. And we started clicking for a while, and I was just like, I was telling him, I'm like, you know, I want to start something like what you do. But yeah, I stopped watching because he started getting borderline racist with a lot of his topics, and I was just like, you know, I can't watch this guy anymore. Even after, you know, he kind of blocked me and my brother. I don't know why, but there was a video he had put up. He was like dissing the whole, you know, Goku and Superman thing, and he just went rabid on, and he just, I don't know what he did. He either just started block, and I wasn't even going to bother with it. But before that, he would shout me out on his videos and stuff, and then I told him, I'm going to do something like that, but I'm going to call it the Opinion Spot. And 200 plus segments in, still doing the Opinion Spot, me giving my opinion on something, and once again, want to hear other people's input on the topic. And then I branched out from the Opinion Spot to a Q&A. Was doing Q&A where people asked me questions, and I was doing that weekly for a while, and then I stopped doing it weekly. Q&A is still going strong. I just don't do it on weekly anymore. I do it monthly, which is coming up soon. It'll be this January, but that's on it. I moved my Q&A to another channel now, which was fine. And then I started to get into, in the Opinion Spot, I started to really, I also started to do my fantasy fights, where I would pit a character against another character and talk about it and analyze the fight a little bit, and then get you guys, the viewers, thoughts on who would win and stuff like that. And the fantasy fights have gone strong. I started to do other segments like characters where I liked them, where I talk about a character that I like. I started to do, then later on, I started looking at people's reviews on comics, and the very first person I started to watch was my mentor, my brother from another mother, my friend, Blugoblin. I started to watch him, and I would watch how he would do his reviews. I would just really watch it and just be in awe of watching what he would do with his reviews, and he was just showcasing. He was having a lot of fun doing it. He was having a lot of fun, and he'd be brutally honest. If he didn't like it, I've seen him toss books. I've seen him burn books, which was really funny. I've seen him just literally, and then I started to really talk. Every time I would always communicate with him, comment on his videos, and he started interacting with me, and we hit it off like this, and we really got so in depth with each other. You know, I started to, just like, I'm gonna ask him. We got really close. He started telling me things that he didn't tell anybody else. It was secret stuff, and I appreciated what he was telling me. And I'm not gonna tell guys, so don't ask. We really started to hit it off. I really did, and it came to the point where I was just like, I asked him, "Can I have your personal information, your address and stuff like that? I want to send you, gifts for gifts and stuff." He said, next a few days later, bam, he gave it to me. I didn't think he was gonna give it, but he did. And he said, "Okay, your turn. Now give me yours." Hit it off right there. It was just a blast. And to this day, I don't think we're any as close as we were. We're so close. It truly is like I have a brother in Missouri. I have a brother in Missouri that I talk to as much as I can. If it's not here, it's on Twitter. If it's not on Twitter, it's on Tumblr. On Facebook, it's on Facebook. We're always together. And then, he told me about this girl he met, and I met Jen and his girlfriend Jennifer, and Jennifer's just a sweetheart, and that's my sweetheart right there. I just, she's just really just down to earth and just fun to be around, and you see it makes him happy. When he told me about that, I was so happy for him when he told me about Jennifer, and I would just keep watching and stuff, and all along still just contemplating. I read comics. Should I do it? Should I get into reading? Should I get into reviewing comics? I would follow Gabi's how he would structure his reviews. Not telling too much, but not telling all of it, not spoiling a lot. And I followed that for a long time. And then I talked to him once again, and I was like, hey, Ed, guess what? I'm gonna start doing reviews. And he was like, that's great. And I told him, but I'm not gonna review any books that you review. And he's, dude, you can review any book you want. And I started. My main channel started with the pilot episode of my reviews, and from there, 15 episodes. But I had to, sometimes my reviews were a little longer, so I had to break them up into 2 parts, which I didn't like. I didn't like breaking up the reviews, so by the 15th episode, I was like, you know what? I want to make a channel just for comic reviews and stuff like that. So I made a channel for that in the description as well. And I made a channel for that, and after there, episode 16 to now episode 83. And I would tell people, I'm the student of Blugoblin. I learned from him. It was him who kind of taught me. And people would, just say, I would get comments just like, man, I like your reviews, or man, like how you get so many books. And I would tell people why I get so many books and stuff like that. And they were just like, oh, that's how you do it, okay. And Gabi would follow me. He would follow my reviews while I would follow his. And even in the process, I started to add more stuff to my main channel, like story arcs / events that I like, where I talk about a certain story arc or an event. And I just started to, once a segment that I used to do on my main channel left that segment and moved to a different channel, I started to add more to it in different channels, different segments. which was fun. It was just a lot of fun to do. And you know, after, geez, how many, 4 years, pretty much 4 or 5 years on YouTube. You know, I've on one channel I've got over 2,000 subscribers. You know, there's channels that got this and that, and people follow me, and I appreciate everything. You know, I deliver. I'm just here to entertain. That's all. You know, if I can make somebody think or smile, you know, or just, wow, he's really nice. He's just a real down-to-earth guy. I'm doing my job. As for the books, the first books that I started to review, with the pilot episode, I only reviewed 6 books, but they had already came out. But you'll see the books that the first 6 books I reviewed, you'll see them, they'll be going by. Those are the first books I reviewed. One from DC, and the other 5 were from Marvel. Now, most of those books that I reviewed on that pilot episode of my review, they were canceled, discontinued, things like that. Some of them were just miniseries, and so they don't have it now. As for the first comic I read, that's a tough one too. That's a real. I can't remember. I know it was too many to count, and actually, because it wasn't just one book I read, but you know, I was young. I was only 10 years old, and sure, I can remember. I do remember just the books that were in that 25 stack of books that my dad gave me. You know, my dad got me in the comics, and you know, I saw it was Hulk and Thor and Batman, Green Lantern, Luke Cage, and you know, Conan. You know, I'm a big Conan fan. You know, things like that. And by maybe the 25th book, I saw You Know Who on the cover. So I don't remember which Spider-Man it was, but I think it was a Marvel Tales book with Spider-Man, and it also had the Wendigo in it, I think, and also the Hulk. I can't remember it. Yeah, I just can't remember it. But still to this day, I always thank Ed for kind of urging me to do it. You know, he kind of was the one to kind of push me, guide me into that direction of reviewing comics and stuff like that, not just reviewing movies and cartoon series and stuff like that, which I still do to this day. But it was Blugoblin that did it for me. I love him. He's one of my best friends on YouTube. You know, he's always, you know, just a good guy. You know, and I get a blast just talking to him and just hearing what he has to say. And besides, he's a wrestling fan like me. You know, we're wrestling fans. So wrestling fans got to stick together. You know, but no, he's Gabby's just a great guy, and I'm glad to know that he's a part of this group with me. Makes me feel good to know my mentor's with me. You know, I saw, and then even still to this day, we'll post our reviews as video responses to each other, as a means of, like, you know, people seeing the teacher and the student, you know, reviews. And even though some people now are saying like the student has become a master, I don't look at it like that. I still think that, you know, I'm still learning in a sense. Oh boy. But still to this day, you know, I'm still just doing something that I love. This is just a hobby for me, and it's a hobby that I like doing, and it's a hobby that seems that everybody else seems to like me doing, because, you know, people will personal message me and ask me You know, just literally sometimes just ask me, how am I doing? You know, kid, how am I doing? Or, you know, hey kid, did you see this or did you see that? When are your Young Justice review gonna be up and things like that? Or when is this gonna be up? Or are you gonna review this when it comes out and stuff like that? You know, it's fun to see that. Are you gonna buy this book, or you know, are you gonna get this game? Things like that. It's just fun, a lot of fun. You know, and like I said before, because of, you know, this isn't the first group I'm a part of. I lead my own group. It's called the YouTubers 3. That we have our own channel as well, and you know, it's a group of us get together and just talk about a different topic, which is really fun and relaxing and stuff. Um, but you know, it's just fun. It's a lot of fun, and you know, with my comic review channels, you know, that's mostly where a lot of people know me from. You know, well, people here on Dark Avenger Inc. Besides Gabi, you know, but probably everybody knows me from my comic review channel, but not everybody knows me from my main channel, just the Mount Vernon Kid. You know, it's just my channel. Um, but it's a lot of fun just to do it, though. Yeah, yes, indeed. And I ran my mouth off long enough with my origin in a sense, but 5 years plus, still going strong, still trying to do what I like to do, entertain as much as I can, and I love it. I love it. It's just a lot of fun, very much. Yeah, and like I always say, I always give my bows, you know, to my mentor, you know, or as he would always go, Growfist, you know, because it's just fun. So, so now, cross that off. Missions complete. So I wonder if you guys are wondering if I give you guys a mission. I might have something cooked up for the Dark Avenger family. I'll be looking forward to that. But I'll do it my way in style, in a sense. But thanks for listening, guys. I ran my mouth long enough. That's my origin, and hope you guys enjoyed it. So as always, this is Mount Vernon Kid coming to you from Dark Avenger Inc. Plus, and as always, this is Mount Vernon Kid saying peace, one love, stay tuned, keep it real. See you guys on the flip flop. Ta-ta for now.